Very good evening and welcome to News Watch with me, Tony Omondi, tonight as I give you the latest news updates. Thank you for joining us on this live broadcast. Our sign language interpreter is Boniface Murithi. Let's begin. The government has launched a 60-day rapid results initiative program aimed at expediting issuance of citizenship documents. Interior Cabinet Secretary Dr. Fred Matiang'i says the initiative will help clear the backlog at Nyayo House, where 25,000 applications are pending. Thousands of Kenyans who lost their citizenship under the old constitution will now have to lodge applications at Nyayo House in Nairobi or at the Kenyan embassies abroad. Speaking Wednesday, Matiang'i said he has written to the Attorney General to simplify the application process. Alice Diana brings us this report.
At least 25,000 Kenyans holding dual citizenship lost their Kenyan citizenship upon the passage of the 2010 Constitution. Interior Cabinet Secretary Dr. Fred Matiang'i says at least 5,000 of them have already applied to regain their citizenship as required by the Kenya Citizenship and Immigration Act of 2011. Speaking during the launch of the Rapid Response Initiative for Processing Kenyan Citizenship (RRI), the CS said the government is keen to reunite the affected with their families and further requested the Attorney General Kihara Kariuki to simplify the process.
We agreed that we are going to have a 60-day rapid resort initiative where we try to clear the backlog of the 500 serious investors who have made applications that are with us and the 25,000 Kenyans who ought to regain their citizenship, and see if we can clear that backlog in 60 days.
By the time we enacted our constitution, we had about slightly over 25,000 Kenyans who had lost their citizenship for a variety of reasons, and we don't need to go into the history of our country that all of us know. Now that our constitution allows dual citizenship, it's important for all those Kenyans to apply and regain their citizenship.
Applications for citizenship are done online through the Kenya Electronic Foreign National Services (EFNS) for the Department of Immigration. During the 60 days period, the government will prioritize the processing of pending citizenship applications for the spouses of Kenya citizens.
Married to a Kenyan.
Lack of documents such as national ID cards and passports denies people their rights to education as well as gainful employment.
If people are married to Kenyans, you understand the law. By dint of that fact alone, they are conferred rights and opportunities to become citizens. I do not understand why somebody should go around town looking for people, going to lawyers and all manner of things, looking for brokers, just because they are married to Kenyans and all they want is they want to get Kenyan citizenship and Kenyan documents. So this rent-seeking opportunity that has been provided in the past by a few of us who are not straightforward, we will not accept this.
The pending applications will be processed within the period of the RRI, which commences on June 2nd and runs for 2 months ending July 31st. However, the applications process will continue beyond the RRI period. The ministry has also identified citizenship applications from investors for fast-tracking during the RRI program.
For those of our investors, and the law provides the threshold of investment and the number of years you ought to have been in our country. We have about 500 pending applications, and I've assured my colleague and my sister Betty that in the next 60 days we will go through all those 500 applications and sort them all out, so that those investors, some of them are people who have shown great love and commitment to our country.
My appeal to investors who are waiting and who have had long applications is that this is the time to revisit them and follow the process that has been announced today.
For Hope TV News Watch, I'm Alice Diana.
For 25 years, I want to congratulate you, Van, and welcome. Be a Kenyan now.
Now moving on, a section of leaders drawn from the Mount Kenya region have called for unity in the region for political advantage ahead of the 2022 general election that is 14 months away. The calls for unity come at a time politicians from the region have been divided by the recent coronation of National Assembly Speaker Justin Muturi as spokesperson for the region. This also comes at a time Deputy President William Ruto has focused on wooing the region, which is President Uhuru Kenyatta's turf. Speaking during a press briefing in Nairobi, Kirinyaga Governor Anne Waiguru called on the regional communities to come together and consolidate their numbers. The leaders, who also included Murang'a Governor Mwangi wa Iria and Nakuru Governor Lee Kinyanjui, dismissed reports of sharp divisions in the region, saying what matters for now is consolidating the numbers.
We have planned another meeting in 2 weeks, as you've heard, which will involve a lot more people we are going to be reaching out to, and soon we will have common ground. And where we come from, we say that those who are not together are scattered with just one stroke. In Kikuyu, we say adomatare dudu ma uragon na jogumemwe. Like people from the mountain, we want to ensure that we have that unity because our numbers matter.
And we are a solid people. We are a strong voting bloc. And what we are saying is that what is about to bring us together is much more than what can disintegrate us. So as leaders, we just called each other over phone. It is not a very formal meeting. Many more would have come. This is not a select group, but we are just starting a journey. And this is a journey of making sure that Mount Kenya is one solid unit. We are one people, and we need to drive one objective. And without shying away, our vote is important. And that vote won't be disintegrated by anybody. We shall engage everybody, and we are one team.
Na tunasema nguvu yetu sisi kama watu wa Mount Kenya ni wingi wa watu ambao tuko pamoja. Kwa hivyo kama watu wa Central tumeanza kuzungumza na tunapeana ujumbe kwa wale wote kuwa sisi wingi wetu ndio nguvu yetu, na tumeanza safari. Safari imeng'oa nanga. Hatukukutana kama viongozi wachache, tumeitana jana usiku na tukasema sasa tumenyamaza sana na tunaona watu wanakimbia huku na kule, inafaa tujipange. Kwa hivyo safari ya kujipanga ili tuweze kujibeba imeanza hivi leo. Katiba imetupa nafasi. Tutazungumza sisi kama watu ya Mlima Kenya. Na tukiona inafaa kusukuma mmoja wetu, bila shaka usishangae ukisikia kuna mmoja ndani yetu amesimama. Kwa hivyo hiyo maneno ndio tumeanza safari sahihi.
Politics and numbers go together. And if we hold the biggest basket, then our numbers must matter. And I think it's up to us as leaders to consolidate our numbers and align the agenda and interests of our region. And that is the purpose of that particular meeting. As to whether there will be a candidate or not, refer to the section in the Constitution on who can vie and who cannot vie. But our region's interests are very important.
Health Cabinet Secretary Mutahi Kagwe has underscored the importance of routine immunization in the fight against polio. Kagwe was speaking in Kibra on the last day of the first round of emergency polio vaccination, called for county and community collaboration, saying it will go a long way in complementing ongoing efforts to detect and contain health risks such as polio. And as Dickens Levander tells us, over 2.5 million children below the age of 5 had been reached and vaccinated by the end of Tuesday against the targeted 3.4 million.
The first round of the polio vaccination campaign ended on Wednesday, with the second phase set for June 19th to 23rd this year.
Kwa majina naitwa Caroline Kidai kutoka Kibira Lindi. Nimeleta mtoto wangu apewe chanjo ya polio kwa sababu chanjo ya polio ni nzuri sana, inazuia ugonjwa wa polio.
Health Cabinet Secretary Mutahi Kagwe, while speaking in Kibra on the last day of the first round of the emergency polio vaccination drive, underscored the importance of the routine immunization in the fight against polio. The CS lauded efforts by the Division of the Disease Surveillance and Epidemic Response, domiciled within the Directorate of Public Health, for picking polio virus within Kenya's borders, and called for county and community collaboration, saying it will go a long way in complementing ongoing efforts to detect and contain health risks such as polio. By the end of Tuesday, a total of 2.5 million children below the age of 5 years had been reached and vaccinated against the targeted 3.4 million children in the targeted 13 high-risk counties after the virus was confirmed to be circulating in Garissa and Mombasa counties.
That means we are 90% done, and so by the end of today, we will be nearly getting to our target, and that's quite good because the countrywide they have reached 74%, but Nairobi we are at 90%, and this is because of the hard work that is being done by our community health workers, and we have a very well organized community health strategy that can reach all households. So we want to take this opportunity to thank every single healthcare worker in Nairobi that has participated in this exercise, that has ensured that all children below the age of 5 years are reached, and that those who have not yet been reached by yesterday, they will be reached today. And as we continue, our facilities are fully open to continue also with the routine vaccination. Remember, polio is also a routine vaccination.
The 5-day immunization campaign, which was launched in Garissa on May 21st, saw a door-to-door campaign take place in the counties of Garissa, Isiolo, Kajiado, Kiambu, Kilifi, Kitui, Lamu, Machakos, Mandera, Mombasa and Nairobi, Tana River and Wajir counties, as well as in the Dadaab refugee camp.
Siku ya leo nimefurahia sana kuwa hapa kuona eti ile kazi tulianza ya kuhakikisha watoto 3.5 milioni wamechanjwa na hii dawa ya polio. Kwa hivyo tunashukuru sana kuona ati tumeshikana na Wizara ya Afya. Tukiwa UNICEF tunashikana na Wizara ya Afya kuhakikisha kila mtoto penye yako amepata hii chanjo. Wakati huu tunaangalia 13 counties, Nairobi ikiwa moja yao. Hata leo ikiwa siku ya mwisho, naona tumejaribu sana kufikia wale watoto, lakini ningependa kuhimiza sana kwa wazazi kusema hii dawa iko sawa kabisa. Hakuna tatizo mtoto akipata chanjo leo na apate tena after a month. Lazima apate hivyo. Unaona hata we mwenyewe tukipata dawa hata hii ya COVID, tunaambiwa chanjo ya mbele na ya pili. Kwa hivyo tunahitaji kuhakikisha ati tumeleta watoto wetu ambao wako chini ya miaka 5 kupata hii chanjo.
The polio virus is highly contagious and can cause paralysis and lifelong disability or even death. Dickens Luvanda, Hope TV News Watch in Nairobi County.
The leader of majority in the National Assembly, Amos Kimonya, has come to the defense of government's state of spending and borrowing, saying borrowing is necessary for efficient service delivery. Kimonya was speaking during this year's Institute of Certified Public Accountants of Kenya, ISPAC, annual conference in Mombasa, where he was challenged by ISPAC members accusing the parliament of authorizing government borrowing despite the state of Kenya's economy. Kimonya had a tough time defending the failure by parliament to curb the growing debt. Outgoing ISPAC chair Rose Maura was particularly concerned by the ever-rising national budget against the shrinking revenue.
So this is a balance between what does the country need to spend today, how are we utilizing the money that we have today so that we are not losing, and of course the various priorities. I think we've talked about the need for vaccination so that we can get out of this pandemic. How are we balancing all this? So Parliament must look at all sides of this debate and make sure that they make the right decision and the decision that favors the country.
Kenyans want roads. Kenyans want sports. Kenyans want airports. They want education. They want health. They want COVID vaccinations. Yeah? But they don't want to pay tax, or they can't afford to pay tax because their economies are not doing as well. So what do you then do? Yeah? You have to get that money from somewhere. And the only choice available is through debt. So we should not be worried about debt. We should be worried about what we are using the money for. When a business is down, yeah, people are told, don't stay at home, don't close business. Go and get some money and invest in reviving your business, right? So our economy is down. What we now need to do is for the government to go out there, look for more money and revive the business. We need more construction going on, more roads being done at this time when things are down. so that the youth can get jobs. Right? It's not stop spending because the economy is not moving, because then you kill everything. And when you kill, how will you ever revive in future? So globally, what do you find? If you look at America, if you look at what is happening in Europe, all these stimulus packages, it's about cranking the economy. Yeah? Because the formal economy has died. Tourism has died in Mombasa. What you now need to see is the government of Kenya sponsoring people to actually come to the hotels, so the hotels can revive. Yeah? That's the kind of thing that we need. But because there's no revenue, tax revenue for that, it needs to borrow. Yeah? And at least resuscitate the economy.
Away from that now, a group of journalists based in Kakamega have warmed people's hearts by initiating a move to build a 70-year-old widow a house to improve her standards of living. In the spirit of being a neighbor's keeper, the journalists went beyond the call of duty of highlighting the plight of the widow, Mama Dorina, in Ebu Chife, Matungo constituency, who had been living in a nylon house to make her abode more livable. The woman, Mama Dorina, whose husband died years ago, led a destitute life in a shanty structure with about 60 reporters initiating a WhatsApp group where they raised money to renovate her home. Take a look.
Sasa mimi nafurahi sana kwa hii neno mnifanyia mimi. Asante sana. Nilikuwa nakaa kwa nyumba mbaya, nilikuwa nyumba ya majani kama msituni, na hiyo jamaa walipata mimi kama mimi mtu kama mimi nilikuwa nakufa kabisa. Sasa mimi nafurahi, walijengea mimi nyumba, nafurahi sana. Sasa mimi iko furaha, sasa mimi naona mzuri, napika. Asante sana.
Tulikuja hapa siku moja katika shughuli zetu za wanahabari, tukapata kwamba mama huyu alikuwa anaishi kwa nyumba ambayo haikuwa inastahili. Kwa hivyo sisi kama wanahabari tukachukua hatua ya kuangaza taarifa hiyo, na mbali na ile kawaida ya wanahabari kuangaza taarifa na kuacha wahisani wajitokeze, sisi wenyewe tukaamua kujitokeza kama wahisani, japo kwa udogo wetu. Tukahakikisha kwamba tumeweka fedha kidogo pamoja ili kuweza kumwekea mama huyu nyumba ambayo inaweza msaidia. Kwa hivyo nyumba hii ambayo iko nyuma yetu ni nyumba ambayo wanahabari wa kaunti ya Kakamega wote kwa jumla wamejitokeza na kuhakikisha kwamba mama huyu wamempa mahali angalau pazuri penye anaweza ishi na kulala.
Nyumba ilikuwa inakaa, ilikuwa baridi. Sasa mimi nakonjeka kabisa. Mimi ilikuwa kama mimi nakufa. Ndio walipata mimi, walitoa mimi huko. Sasa saa hii mimi nilipata nyumba, mimi nasikia mzuri. Asante.
Shukrani zangu sana zinaenda kwa waandishi wa habari wa Kakamega kwa kutembelea mji huu na kupata mama kama huyu. Alikuwa na shida sana, hakuwa na nyumba yoyote ya kuishi ndani. Lakini kwa hivi sasa kuna mama wengine pia wangali wako, lakini huyu mama ni baadhi ya wale mama ambao wamesaidika sana kupata nyumba. Huyu mama hakuwa na popote pa kuishi, alikuwa anaishi tu katika nyumba ya makaratasi tu. Inua jamii au mama wako katika hiyo mradi. Lakini katika county program katika hii area ni mama mmoja tu ambaye wamejitolea wakamjengea nyumba, lakini it was 2016.
Zaidi ya yote sisi tunaomba pia serikali katika njia zake na katika kuhakikisha kwamba mpango wa Inua Jamii ambayo ulilenga kuwasaidia kina mama kama hawa, mpango huo unafikia wale walengwa. Maana wengi hawafikiwi. Pesa zinaingia katika mikono ya watu ambao ni watu ambao wanajiweza, watu ama maafisa ambao labda pengine wamewekwa katika kusimamia ule mpango. So tunaomba sisi kama wanahabari pia, wamama kama hawa wako vijijini. Sisi tunatembea sehemu zote na tunapatana na wamama kama hawa, na sio mama peke yao. Pia kuna wazee ambao pia tunapatana nao wanapitia hali kama hizi. Sasa serikali iweze tu kustrengthen zile structures zake kuhakikisha kwamba watu kama hawa ambao ni walengwa katika huo mpango wa Inua Jamii wanafaidika.
Mimi nafurahi sana, mimi nacheka. Asante sana.
Let's move on. The university's academic staff union, WASU Kenyatta University chapter, has raised concerns after the International Monetary Fund, IMF, released its country report on Kenya, revealing that the university is among 3 largest universities and other state-owned enterprises with the highest financial risks. WASU Kenyatta University chapter, led by its secretary, Dr. George Lukoye, has lamented that since the IMF report was released in April, nothing has been done to ensure the university does not fall into a financial crisis. WASU has lamented that indeed the university is in financial crisis, citing failure by the administration to release salaries on time and perform statutory deductions on employees.
We have since learned through the media that KU was one of the 3 universities. It is expected that by the end of May 2021, a strategy will have been prepared for addressing the problem facing the universities, including Kenyatta University. It is our assumption that the IMF, through the relevant government institutions, is coming up with that strategy. WASU is a key stakeholder in higher education and cannot be ignored in matters affecting the sector, including the impending restructuring as a consequence of the IMF funding to the government of Kenya. WASU KU Executive Committee, seated here today, has prepared the union's position on the IMF country report with special focus on KU that will be handed over to the institutions identified in the report. The report addresses itself to the following key themes. Number 1, indicators of the financial risks at KU. What are the indicators of the financial risks at KU? We wish to state that the report by IMF about the financial crisis or risks at KU is not a surprise. It was just a matter of time for the truth to come out in the public domain. We wish to let the public know that having noted symptoms and indicators of financial malpractices at the university, WASU KU elected leadership and the leadership of the other sister unions have either jointly or separately written to the relevant authorities, and in particular the EACC, as indicated in the report, requesting for investigations and audit of the university.
We shall never be divided, for the union.
Let's take a quick look at the COVID-19 statistics in the country. Kenya has recorded 431 new COVID-19 cases after a sample size of 5,846 was analyzed in the last 24 hours. This brings the total number of confirmed positive cases in the country to 169,356. The positivity rate is now at 7.4%. Fortunately, 31 patients have recovered from the disease, taking total recoveries to 115,844. Unfortunately, 10 deaths have been recorded in the last 24 hours, pushing the cumulative fatalities to 3,097. All right, with that, let's take a short commercial break on News. We'll be back with more stories making headlines in the country. Do stay with us.
The shortest chapter in the Bible is Psalm 117, which says, "The Lord's truth endures forever." Now, that word truth in the Hebrew language is emeth, and the Jewish scholars and doctors tell us that that word's really interesting because it contains the first letter of the Hebrew alphabet, Aleph, the middle letter of the Hebrew alphabet, Mem, and the last letter of the Hebrew alphabet, which is Tau. And they say that's because the Alpha and Omega has a truth that is our comfort all in all from A to Z. In the same way, the Bible says that God is the author and the finisher of our faith. Paul said, he who began a good work in you will be faithful to finish it. Now that word for finish or complete is the word telestai in Greek, the same word that Jesus used on the cross when he said, te telestai, it is finished. Paul hijacked that word and was saying, as surely as Jesus carried his cross to completion, so too the Alpha and Omega will telestai, finish the work that he's begun in you. God is not just somebody who starts a project, he's somebody who finishes it to perfection. He's faithful, all in all, from A to Z, the Alpha and the Omega.
Welcome back to News Watch. Embu and Garissa counties have drastically increased their revenue collection since 2013 by growing their revenues by more than 200%. This is according to the most recent report by the Commission on Revenue Allocation, CRA, tracking progress in counties' own sources of revenue. As our reporter Dolly Murigi tells us, at least 15 counties have more than doubled their revenue over the first 6 years of devolution.
The Commission of Revenue Allocation has developed the county's own sources revenue report, a document that takes stock of the performance of the own resource revenue at the county government for the first 6 years of devolution.
Notably, we are launching these two reports in the backdrop of a contracting fiscal envelope, compounded by spending pressure to contain the pandemic, stimulate the economy, and at the same time, start a program of much-needed fiscal consolidation. Clearly, it is almost an impossible covenant to achieve all three together.
Embu and Garissa counties have drastically increased their revenue collection from the 2013-2014 financial year. According to Commission Revenue Allocation, Embu and Garissa have grown on revenue sources by 254 and 202% respectively. From the same analysis, 15 counties including Tana River, West Pokot, Lamu, Kirinyaga, Mombasa, Nandi, Kiambu, Elgeyo Marakwet, Laikipia, Taita Taveta, Marsabit, Makueni, Kakamega, Tharaka Nithi and Nyandarua more than doubled their revenue over the first 6 years of devolution.
Ladies and gentlemen, the current fiscal challenges have seen, for instance, delays in exchequer releases. We have heard that from the control budget. And county governments can use locally raised revenues or their own revenues to smooth their cash flows and to circumvent disruptions in service delivery and minimize dependence on equitable share of revenue, as has been the case.
Nairobi County, on the other side, although raising the highest on-source revenue, has grown by less than 1% in the first 6 years of devolution. The county has a potential to finance 40% of its budget. A study conducted by the National Treasury in 2018 projected that the county's own sources revenue potential is at 172 billion per year. Narok County collects more than 1 billion shilling annually, similar to city counties. Notable in Samburu County that has surpassed its estimated potential, while Isiolo, Laikipia and Baringo are among the counties that collected more than 40% of their estimated revenue potential. Primary revenue streams for county government are property-related revenue, business permits and vehicle parking fees. On the issue of county financing its budget, urban and peri-urban counties were found to finance their budget more than rural counties. Finally, it was found out that the majority of counties that collect low revenue have agriculture as the main economic activity.
and the Constitution requires of me to confirm whether or not during my audits that public money is being applied lawfully and effectively, including the raising of revenue. And the Public Audit Act requires me to confirm that all reasonable precautions have been taken to safeguard the collection of revenue and the acquisition, receipt, issuance, and proper use of assets and liabilities.
Remember that this year, as a speaker, I've had one of the most difficult times in trying to preside over the formula for revenue allocation. It came down a record 11 times, because when it comes to sharing any resources, especially money, is not easy, because everybody wants resources to go to their counties. So it has not been very easy. So if we can improve on-source revenue collection, that will minimize the acrimony that we see in the Senate in terms of getting a formula that will ensure that every county gets adequate money. The money is not enough, but at least get money that they can be able to do that.
Dolly Mirigi for Hope TV News Watch.
The chairman and founder of Safety and Professional Experts in Disasters and Volunteers of Kenya, SPEDVAC, Piers Masai, has led a road safety awareness exercise in Eshisiru areas along Kakamega Mumias Road to educate locals on road safety precautions. This is after numerous cases of road accidents were recently reported in the area, some leading to loss of lives. The area residents have been educated on how to handle emergencies in case of accidents, with the trainings focusing on instant command, casualty management, personal safety and eyewitnessing.
Tumeshukuru kwa ajili ya hili shirika vile mmefika hapa, mtusaidie kwamba wananchi tujue kwamba tuko na haki ya kulinda barabara, kuangalia mambo ya ajali hiyo. It is we who are affected. Mtusaidie wananchi. Wengine walikuwa na time, gari kianguka wanakimbilia mbio kuiba masimu, kuiba pesa, kupora kila kitu, wakikimbia wakienda. But empowering the community itatusaidia whereby kila mmoja wetu atakuwa na responsibility.
Watoto wanakufa hapa, watu wazima wanakufa, magari inaanguka hapa. Sasa kitu mimi naona kweli serikali yetu ikutengenezee ile bumps.
Nimefurahia, sasa tutafanya kazi pamoja na serikali, tukiona kitu kama imetendeka pato karibia karibu ndio tuwasilishe wenye wanatakikana tupate huduma ya mara moja.
Kwa hii mradi ambayo imetolewa ya kuchunguza jinsi accidents zinavyofanyika hapa, utakuta mtoto wa miaka 12 hadi 14 anaendesha pikipiki, ambapo atuelewe kama ni haki ama sio haki. Tungependa pia hii chama iwe na mamlaka ya kutoa amri, mtoto mchanga akipatikana akiendesha pikipiki wamchukulia hatua.
Niko na tumaini ya kwamba tukiendelea kushikana pamoja na wananchi na washikadau wengine wote, tutaweza kutafuta mabadiliko. Tutajifunza jinsi tutakuwa tukisaidiana wakati wa ajali ikipatikana, na ni furaha ya kwamba tunaenda kutengenezewa hata bumps tumekuwa promised. Kwa hivyo at least tunaenda kupunguza na watu wetu hawatakuwa wakipata ajali kwa wingi.
Wananchi wenyewe wanafundishwa ya kuzuia, na pia mikasa ikitokea waweze kusaidia wale watu wengine. The challenges facing the people here, they lacked knowledge, they lacked skills, they feared, they thought that this is a work for the government, they thought in kasi ya polisi. But now, because of the training, they have taken ownership, and we have established the chairman and his team working with the people.
Amani National Congress leader Musalia Mudavadi has called on the government not to overburden taxpayers with debts owing to the current economic status and the ballooning public debt. In a webinar and a media briefing with the Kenya National Chamber of Commerce and Industry, KNCCI, Mudavadi said taxes in the country must be fair and realistic to all.
The long and short of it is that nobody says we should not pay tax. Nobody says that the small and medium people should not pay, enterprise should not pay tax. Nobody says Mama Mboga should not pay tax. We all have to pay tax. But what is key is that, is this tax becoming a hindrance? Is this tax killing businesses? Or is this tax supportive? Are we collecting tax merely to pay debts? Or are we collecting tax so that we can improve the livelihood and the welfare of the Kenyan people? We acknowledge the government has done very well in terms of infrastructure. The highways are improving, the roads are improving, the rail lines are improving, which is good. The ports are being developed and so forth. But the fundamental question is this. The majority of the people also want to be able to have that extra income in their pockets. So we must strike a proper balance between what we have been looking at in terms of deficit financing, growing public debt, and in the process putting so much pressure on the KRA as a nation. We've lost about 2 million jobs, partly because of COVID and partly because of the strain that the economy is going through. Let us pull together, let us work together, let us make taxation simpler, let us not make it obstructive, let us be able to get our Kenyans to earn something so that they can also save, because without savings, the economy is not going to grow.
The county government of Kitui has partnered with the National Health Insurance Fund, NHIF, to ensure 100,000 families in actualization of universal health coverage across the county. Governor Charity Ngilu held talks with a delegation from a National Hospital Insurance Fund, NHIF, led by CEO Dr. Peter Kamunyo, on the rollout of UHC to all Kitui residents. The cover will put over 130,000 Kitui households under NHIF, and beneficiaries will be able to access medical services from facilities within and outside Kitui County.
Kitui County Health Insurance cover, CHIC, where people pay 1,000 shillings, has only been covering our own health facilities. This now will go beyond that. Covered by National Hospital Insurance Fund will mean that you can access health care elsewhere, not just from our own hospitals, but also elsewhere, including referral to Kenyatta National Hospital.
Her Excellency, the Governor of Kitui, has committed to support another 100,000 indigent families in Kitui. So that will mean out of the 159,000 that were identified in the last population census, that Kitui is actually many steps towards achieving UHC in the shortest time.
Because right now, our Kitui County Health Insurance cover does not go beyond Kitui health facilities. And that's why we are saying, for us to make sure that people are fully covered, we need now to partner with NHIF and make sure that everybody who will pay just a certain amount that we have agreed, and what we are paying, we will make sure that they are all covered.
The other thing that we were also looking at is to ensure that once we enroll these people, that where are they going to get healthcare services? They're going to get healthcare services in the facilities that are available here, in the facilities that have been improved, and I'm sure you have had a look at some of them. And we want to build up on this because there are over 190 facilities in Kitui that NHIF, government facilities that NHIF has already accredited.
Let's now look at what is happening internationally. Mali's interim president, Ban Daw, and Prime Minister Mokhtar Ouane have reportedly officially resigned. The president and prime minister have been detained since Monday evening at a military camp outside the capital, Bamako. The officer who led last year's coup and became vice president of an interim government, Colonel Assimi Goita, accused them of failing in their duties and seeking to sabotage the country's transition. Reports of their resignations came as West African mediators visit the country, hoping to organize their release from military detention. On Tuesday, UN Chief Antonio Guterres demanded their immediate release. They were detained just hours after a government reshuffle in which 2 army officers who took part in the coup were replaced. And former South African President Jacob Zuma has pleaded not guilty in a corruption trial involving a $5 billion arms deal from the 1990s. He is facing 18 counts of
These charges have been
racketeering,
explained to you.
corruption,
You understand what they
fraud,
entail.
tax evasion, and money laundering. Zuma blames political enemies in the governing African National Congress ANC party for his legal troubles. The arms deal involved buying new fighter jets, helicopters, submarines, and warships. But questions emerged about the deal months after it was signed, with some critics saying the government should have spent the money on fighting poverty. Zuma was South Africa's president from 2009 until 2018, when he was forced to resign after a vote of no confidence.
These charges have been explained to you. You understand what they entail. Yes, I do. May I ask you then as to how you plead to the charges that have been put to you, which are respectively counts 1, 2, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10 to 18, with the sub-counts and alternatives that have been read out.
Yes, I heard them.
How do you plead to them?
I plead not guilty.
Sir, you've heard the charges that have been put from the indictment. In respect of accused number 2, who you represent, they relate to counts 1, 3, 5, and 6, with the sub-counts and the alternatives that have been read out this morning. Likewise, as with Mr. Zuma, I take it you are aware of those charges. You've no doubt had the benefit of legal advice in regard thereto. And do you understand those charges?
I plead not guilty, my lord.
You plead not guilty to counts 1, 3, 5, and 6, and the alternatives.
All right, we do apologize for that hitch there. And in Nigeria, hundreds of protesters blocked the highway as some set tires on fire on the road, calling on police to do more about a surge in kidnappings for ransom. In recent weeks, several individuals have been kidnapped for ransom, while more than 800 students have been abducted from their schools in northern Nigeria since December. In most cases, they've been freed after ransoms were believed to have been paid, although authorities rarely admit that. The 2014 kidnap of 276 schoolgirls in the northeastern town of Chibok by Islamist militants Boko Haram brought global attention to the scourge of raids on schools in Nigeria, but the most recent attacks are suspected to be the work of criminal gangs. All right, let's take another short break on News Watch, and we'll be back with business news and sports news.
Hope TV is where you look and live, offering some of the best family entertainment programs with Christian movies, in-depth discussions, contemporary Christian worship, and testimony programs. Hope TV provides the life-transforming message of Jesus Christ. We deliver inspirational, informational, and motivational programming with special guests and unmatched teaching. When it comes to watching television, tune in to Hope TV, where you look and live.
Welcome. Let's continue with business. President Uhuru Kenyatta has assured that the government will continue creating a conducive environment for businesses to thrive with the aim of creating jobs and wealth for wananchi. The president, who spoke on Wednesday when he officially opened the Nema abattoir in Lakisama, Nairobi County, said the government will continue sourcing for new markets and expand existing ones so as to enable farmers to sell their livestock at good prices. Nema is a 300 million shilling slaughterhouse owned by 3,000 livestock farmers and has an installed daily slaughter capacity of 12,000 and 6,000 small stock, goats and sheep for local and export markets respectively. Over 85% of their products are sold overseas.
Mulianza hii biashara ya kuuza mbuzi hapa Kiamaiko, na mpaka wa leo mumeendelea na hiyo kazi, na mukaendelea, mukaungana, mukashirikiana, mukatengeneza hii chama yenu, chama ambayo ilisanya zaidi ya watu 3,000 kuja pamoja, mkanunua hii shamba, na kati yenu mkaweza kuchanga zaidi ya milioni 300 ile ambaye mumeinvest hapa, na mumeendelea na hiyo kazi kutoka 2013 mpaka leo, ambapo tuko hapa tukisherehekea na tukimshukuru Mungu wakati tunafungua hii vichinjio mbili, moja ambaye inalenga kuendelea kuuza nyama nchi za ng'ambo, na ingine ambaye itakuwa inahudumia Wakenya wenzenu kwa kuuza nyama za mbuzi hapa local hapa kwetu Kenya. Nataka niwahakikishie mbele ya mwaka huu tuko na mradi kama serikali pale Athi River ya kuanza new tanning facility, pahali ambapo mtaweza kupeleka hiyo ngozi yenu na muweze kupata pesa ambayo inastahili kwa hizo ngozi ambazo zinatoka hapa, na hiyo tutawafanyia. Tukifungua barabara, tuweke stima na mambo mengine, hiyo ndio itawawezesha nyinyi kuweka biashara zenu, kuwa mnaishi kwa usalama, kuwa mnaweza kujenga nyumba safi. Na nataka niwahakikishie ya kwamba wakaaji wa Nairobi hivi karibuni pia tuko na mradi vile tuliwahakikishia ya kwamba katika mitaa yetu yote wananchi watapata maji, na tukatenda na wananchi na tukajenga boreholes katika kila kijiji Nairobi hii. Wananchi wawe wanapata maji bila kulipishwa. Hivyo pia ndivyo tunaendelea kufanya.
Starehe Boys Center, an education institution in Kenya catering for bright but needy students, has benefited from support from Bias Farm Novozymes aimed at enhancing science, technology, engineering and mathematics STEM learning in the country. Novozymes Kenya has sponsored the renovation of the school's 2 biology laboratories and invested in new equipment at a cost of over 2 million shillings, including new ceilings and flooring, cabinet upgrades, window blinds, repainting and repairs to the electrical system. The renovated science facilities were handed over to the school administration at a ceremony attended by part of the Novozymes Kenya team and Starehe Boys fraternity.
My name is Josephat Maora. I'm the director here from about 2018. I was a student here myself in Starehe. So I understand Starehe under the founder director, Dr. Griffin. Our mission here is to provide care and education for boys in need and inspire them to transform into productive and exemplary members of society. So when Novozymes came to us in 2018 to conceive this project. Novozymes is helping us to deliver that mission, and we bring our boys from all corners of Kenya. And by helping a boy in Sterehe, you begin to reach the community, whether it is in Turkana, whether it is in Moyale, whether it is in Lamu, whether it is in Migori, all corners of Kenya. And we are deeply grateful to Novozymes for the investment that they have made.
My name is Regina Karani. I am the General Manager for Novozymes Kenya Limited. It's a Danish-based company with global headquarters in Copenhagen. We have been in the country for 2 years. The Starehe project is a very important one for us. We have a global project where we want to educate 1 million children. And Starehe was a very natural choice for us because Starehe takes care of the very needy children. And when you educate a child, you actually educate a whole community. In this school, even some of the children we have met, they come from very disadvantaged backgrounds. Some of them might not even find food, they might not even find even fare. Someone has to get them into the school.
Here in Sterehe, our greatest pride is when a child comes from poverty and goes through Sterehe, they are transformed and then go back to impact their families and to impact society. So that is the investment that Novozymes is making. We are deeply, deeply grateful. We believe there are so many opportunities for us to work together.
Novozymes supports STEM, science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. Being a biology-based organization, we are very deliberate about pushing the STEM platform in the academic environment. That's why we have said 1 million children globally will benefit by us being the sponsor, very deliberately about STEM.
Equity Group has reported a profit after tax of 8.7 billion shillings for the period ended 31st March 2021, which rose 64% from 5.3 billion shillings recorded during a similar period last year. Equity Group Chief Executive Officer Dr. James Mwangi, while issuing investor briefing on Wednesday, attributed the improved performance to steady business recovery after tough socio-economic environment brought about by the COVID-19. Interest income grew by 32%, while non-funded income grew by 30% to contribute 42% of total income.
This means the bank has bounced back to pre-COVID days. Last year and to date, we have continued to waive transaction fee related to mobile banking. 98% of all our transactions are now outside the branch, and 96% of them are on the digital platform. 98 outside the branch, 96 on digital platform. What does that mean? It means self-service. It means 24-hour banking offering. It means lifestyle enablement, and it means convenience to the customer. Even in terms of value, the clients have moved digital. Equity has invested substantially on the fourth industrial revolution technologies. We have adopted big data. We have adopted machine learning. We have adopted artificial intelligence. We have adopted analytics capability. And as we can see, the credit decisioning is through algorithms. And so customer selection no longer has any biases. Interconnectedness and using these fintech capabilities have given us ability to have a global presence. And as a result, we've become a major processor of remittances and payments allowed the world.
Let's look at some sports news. With 10 days to go, organizers of the third edition of the Eldoret City Marathon have released over 40 COVID-19 guidelines for the race. The guidelines issued by the Uasin Gishu County's Health Department will be followed during preparations and the day of the June 6th event. Elsewhere, Manchester United play Villarreal in the Europa League final tonight in Poland as the English side hunt a title after missing out on 4 finals. Joseph Maingi is here with the day's sports update.
All is set for this year's edition of the Eldoret City Marathon, which unfortunately will be without spectators due to the COVID-19 protocols, with already a raft of guidelines laid down to counter the spread of the COVID-19. Among the rules issued by the county executive in charge of health are the prohibition of handshakes and hugs to celebrate victories during and after the marathon. At the same time, Area Governor Jackson Mandago has encouraged everyone in the county to plant trees in his or her own farm and any public space on that day. Mandago has added that his administration is using the marathon to mobilize the plantation of more than 1 million trees every year.
We want our athletes, we want to use sports to champion environmental conservation. And we welcome the citizens of this county. Even if you are not going to participate in the marathon, on that particular day, make sure you plant at least 10-20 trees in commemoration of Eldoret City Marathon. You will have played your role in environmental conservation. So we are urging all of us to be responsible, to plant more trees, conserve our wetlands, do proper solid waste management so that we have a sustainable environment suitable for human living.
And we shift gears to European football, and 2 managers with differing resume of success in continental competition prepare their sides to battle in Poland as Villarreal take on Manchester United in the UEFA Europa League final. The Yellow Submarine sent Arsenal packing on 2-1 aggregate in the final 4 to advance to the showpiece event, while Manchester United put 8 past Roma over the 2 legs as Ole Gunnar Solskjaer searches for his first piece of silverware since assuming office. Villarreal's La Liga campaign ended in a disappointing 2-1 defeat to eventual runners-up Real Madrid on Saturday, whereas United secured their Premier League victory by the same scoreline over Wolverhampton Wanderers. Well, that's your sports. I'm Joseph Maingi.
All right, with that, we've come to the end of this live broadcast tonight. Thank you for always watching Hope TV. I'll see you tomorrow at the same time. My name is Tony Omondi and our sign language interpreter has been Boniface Murithi. Have a good night and God bless.